Some people are being harmed in transitional housing and group homes right now, not because housing is the wrong solution, but because it is being carried by people who were never prepared to do this work. I could speak to this because I was one of those people when I got into this space. And good intentions do not equip you to manage trauma. Housing alone does not stabilize someone, and filling a bed does not mean a person is being helped. I'm watching individuals who are leaving psychiatric hospitals, leaving incarceration and long-term institutional settings, and getting placed into group homes and into programs that do not have the skill, the structure, or the leadership capacity to support them. And when those individuals struggle, the system blames them. But the truth is, they were never given a fair chance. Now, this conversation is uncomfortable, but it is necessary because transitional housing and group homes is not a trend. It is not a side hustle. It is not a side business, and it is not a shortcut to income. It is a responsibility. So welcome to Live for Free, where we transform lives through transitional housing, not as a bed to nowhere, but as a bridge to sustainability. And today, I want to address a belief that sounds practical and even responsible on the surface, but causes real harm when it goes unchallenged. The belief that if you can open a home, fill it quickly, and keep it full, you are doing this work well. I do not operate that way. And I want to explain why. Because focusing on speed does not just destabilize programs, it actively hurts people, and it places individuals into environments that they are not ready for, and the people who are coming into them and the people who are trying to run them. And then they expect them to succeed inside systems that were never built to hold what they are carrying. So when filling beds fast becomes your priority, or making money fast, then that discernment is the first thing that's going to go. And then the alignment gets rushed, and then the capacity gets ignored. Now, this becomes especially dangerous when people believe they can enter into this space and serve any population simply because they have a property and a good heart. Now, I'm all for people who have good hearts, and I'm all for people who have properties, but you must do it the right way. And transitional housing is not interchangeable. Serving young adults who are aging out of foster care is not the same as serving individuals with unmanaged mental illness. Supporting someone re-entering society after incarceration is not the same as supporting someone exiting detox. And each population carries different risks, different needs, and different requirements for leadership and structure. And managing individuals coming directly out of a psychiatric hospital, or even out of incarceration, or even a long-term institutionalized environment is going to require training and the emotional regulation and crisis protocols to be able to do this work well as having layered support systems. And many operators do not have those things. And if you really want to create that, you want to be in a space that's going to show you how to successfully create it. And there's no shame in being able to do that. You just need to be in the right environment that is going to stress those necessary things and not stress how lucrative it's going to be to get into this space. The harm comes when people do not know what they are not prepared for. Now, I have watched someone leaving incarceration, and I've watched them move into a house that promised support but had no understanding of reentry. And within weeks, they were being written up for behaviors that no one prepared them to manage. And they were labeled resistant, difficult, non-compliant, but that person didn't fail. They were placed into a program that was never designed for their level of need. And I've watched operators accept residents with complex mental health histories without clinical support, without having crisis plans, and without being able to have trained staff working with them. Now, many of them were told they were filling beds quickly, and by doing that, that was successful. And they believed by simply being compassionate that they could carry that, but it didn't. Now, what happens next is predictable. We have situations that escalate and boundaries that get tested, and you have staff that freeze or overreact, and not having those type of things in place can send things in a frizzy. You've got leadership that panics and residents who need stability and professional support with the experience behind it, and having people who support you with that experience. So when you have residents who are struggling, that narrative quietly shifts to blaming them. But that is not a resident failure. That's actually a placement failure. And this is why I push back so strongly on the idea that filling beds fast is the goal, because it's not the goal. Speed skips that discernment, and discernment is what tells you whether your program, your team, and your leadership capacity are actually equipped to serve the person that's standing right in front of you. So transitional housing, the way that I look at it, it's meant to be a bridge, and it's a bridge from instability to structure and taking people from survival to sustainability. And you want to be able to provide that bridge that is going to be engineered properly to create the result that you want. And that requires pacing, and it requires those load limits necessary to make it happen. So when you rush a bridge, it does not carry people forward. It actually collapses. You do not want to be able to serve people in that way, nor do people want to be served that way. In fact, trying to serve everyone is the one way that you will guarantee you will fail people. And ethical operators know their limits. They understand their capacity, and they build programs around what they are actually prepared to lead, not what sounds noble or profitable. So knowing who you are and why you're doing the work is critical. That's why that's one of the strategies we work on first, to make sure that we get to the heart of why you're really wanting to do this work. There is wisdom in saying that this proper population is not ours to serve. It's okay to say that. It's okay to not try to serve everyone. There's leadership in even referring someone else elsewhere, because if you can't serve them, there's somebody else who can. And saying no is okay, versus pulling them into your program and you don't have the support to be able to take care of them properly. And there is real harm in pretending that you can do otherwise. So if you are not prepared to carry the weight of someone's transition, then you should not be profiting from it. And when success is measured by how fast beds fill, then people stop asking the most important question. Am I actually equipped to lead this person through what they are carrying? That is when transitional housing stops being a bridge and becomes a revolving door. We don't want simply people just moving in, having them struggle, and having them leave. We want to have the system that tells itself it tried. And you want to have a system that not only tries, but succeeds. This is what your focus should be. And trying is not simply enough. You must prepare and do it the right way, creating the right structure, creating the right capacity. All of those things matter. And if you're serious about this work and you really want to do it, then be honest with yourself and what you're called to do, and make sure you have the support. We have an amazing community that we have built that helps you work through these things, helps you understand what it is that you're building, and gives you the necessary steps to build it. It's called Transitional Housing Hub, and it's an amazing group of people where we get together and we talk about how not only talking about it, but executing our programs successfully so that we are creating something that is responsible, something that is durable, and something that is lasting, that changes people's lives. And if you want to know how you can be a part of that, then go ahead and come to tonyschool.com. That's TONISKOOL.com. When you come prepared to learn, but not only learn, but to execute. Because we are about executing programs that work. Because we believe that doing this work well means knowing your limits and not ignoring them. And we are here to help you reach whatever it is that you want to achieve. And I look forward to seeing you